Good afternoon. Well, it's afternoon here in Ohio. My name is Madeline Zaworski, and I am a Platinum Independent Consultant with NECAN. The presentation that we're presenting today is called a Product Showcase. Those of the stories that are shared and the presentation is that of independent consultants like myself and the other guests that are on here. And we make no medical claims, but we just share stories from our heart. A little bit of an overview. NECAN is a global, debt-free, total active wellness company whose mission is every home a wellness home, whose purpose is living a life in balance, and whose why or movement, so to speak, is humans being more. And I think we would all agree that it's something that our world needs, to live a life in balance, to be humans being more to one another, and to have a wonderful vehicle of every home a wellness home. And so with the vision, even if 5% of the world had a wellness home, it would make such a difference in having more people live lives in balance. So with that being said, I will be presenting some slides on a PowerPoint here. And the first slide, is that too big on the screen? It looks like it's too big on my side. Is it too big?
Yes.
Okay, it's too big. So now I have to find out up here how to make it smaller. I don't know how that got bigger. Anybody there online that could help me? Okay, I see a plus and a minus up here. So there we go. Does that make it smaller? Okay. All we need is a plus and a minus. So the purpose of today is to discover active wellness and living a life in balance rather than a life out of balance. Now to move to the next slide. Okay. There is a compound effect by the daily choices that we make. And so the choices that we make, and as we continue to repeat those choices, that's my phone, then end up becoming a habit. So we all know, I'm sorry about that. I blocked myself off. I'm just going to keep repeating.
Call from
I apologize.
51932.
That should stop it. The daily choices that we make, and especially if we repeat them over and over again, with consistency, small choices, as it says at the bottom, plus consistency over time make a radical difference. So for example, if we get up and walk every day, or if we ride a bicycle every day, or if we choose not to eat sugar every day, there's going to be a difference in a result than if we didn't make a choice like that. And similarly, if we continue to drink 10 Cokes a day or a 6-pack of beer, then we're going to have different consequences if we make those kind of choices. And anything that we do often enough does become a habit. So what we're talking about today is that if we make positive choices, we become humans being more, which is the movement, the overall movement of this wonderful company named NECAN. If we don't, the red arrow that points down, we become humans being less, or we experience more stress for not making the best choices. So that's kind of the compounding effect, and that'll be the overview of what's in the slides here. So just a few health facts to kind of clip through, and we do have people that are listening in on the phone. So for those of you that are watching, I will be reading what's here so that those that are listening are able to hear the content. So some health facts for serious consideration. Stress. Stress is the silent killer that impacts the #1 leading cause of death still in North America is heart disease. Many of the chronic diseases that relate to heart disease being #1 is diabetes, allergies, toxic environment, overweight, inadequate sleep. Those are all risk factors that cause cardiovascular disease to be the #1 killer. Sleep. Most people don't realize that 70% of Americans have sleep issues, and that one poor night's sleep drops your immune system by 60% immediately. We often, well, in the old days, I don't know if it's true anymore, but when kids went off to college and they started partying and not eating well, then they would get an immune disorder because they were not getting an adequate night's sleep. Once they were away from mom and dad and not sleeping well and not eating well, then immediately an autoimmune disorder would kick in. The air that we breathe, I failed to say that in the beginning, I'm a nurse of 50 years. And 50 years ago, when I started in nursing and when I grew up in the 50s and the 60s, we didn't have air conditioning. We had windows open and fresh air blew through the house, and we didn't have the fire retardants and the chemicals that have been put into fabrics and carpets and so forth to keep us safe from our homes burning down. But those chemicals and the chemicals that have been added to water have created a toxic syndrome in our body. So that one actually leads into the other. But just a few of the statistics on indoor air and quality. 7 million premature deaths annually are linked to air pollution. That's according to the World Health Organization. We have a little bit of feedback. So if there's someone on the line that hasn't unmuted their phone, if they could unmute it, then we wouldn't hear the feedback in the recording. Thank you. Again, from the time that I entered nursing 50 years ago, exponential growth in allergies. We have too many children and adults, but children to be on steroids and inhalers at the young ages that they are. By the time they become adults, they'll have issues with osteoporosis, whole plethora of cardiovascular problems because of having been on inhalers and steroids for a good part of their life. You'll be seeing shortly that we have wonderful natural energy solutions to help improve the air and decrease some of the issues that we have because of living in our safer fire retardant homes that we live in and safer minimal standard water that we have. Now water, there are 260 contaminants found in tap water. So what are people switching to? They're switching to bottled water, thinking that's safer. Bottled water is found to have over 24,000 chemicals, including endocrine disruptors. Now, what does that mean? The endocrine glands in our body, we have a neuroendocrine and all the other movement glands. They're all interrelated for us to be in balance and not in dis-ease. Dis-ease means out of ease or out of balance. And so we have this exponential increase of autoimmune diseases, diabetes, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. Endocrine glands are the ones that impact those kinds of where you end up being allergic to yourself, essentially, autoimmune. So this is one of the reasons some of these chemicals, whether we get them in our food, in our water, in the air, that has added to the exponential increase of chronic disorders that we're experiencing in the modern world today. Modern technology has helped with many things, and it's created a new set of issues for us. Here's some horrific health trends. This is our new childhood in America. Our children aren't safe. Obesity rates, and the statistics here are actually a little bit outdated. They're even worse today. But in 2010, 36%, 78 million adults and 12 million children, 1 out of 5 every adolescent, are overweight. And so why? Inadequate consumption of essential nutrients, fast foods, exercise with their thumbs on all of the computer games instead of riding a bicycle and playing basketball and shooting baskets and running on roller skates and the kinds of things that exert energy. Less than half adolescents eat the needed amount of vegetables. And a vegetable today, a pound of spinach or a can of spinach in who was the guy with the muscles with a pound of spinach? Popeye.
Popeye.
Okay, a pound of spinach in Popeye's days, you need to have 10 pounds of spinach today because of all the soil to get the same amount of nutritive value that when Popeye was eating his can of spinach. And so, first of all, they don't eat enough. And today we have to eat more. Again, when I went to nursing school, you needed 4 fruits and vegetables in a day. Now it's recommended, the AD recommends 12 fruits and vegetables because they don't have the nutritive value that they did at one time. Low-income families are struggling. So 2-for-1 hamburgers and a meal at these fast food stores when mom's working 2 jobs to juggle, it's much easier, but it's less nutritive value, filled with empty calories, obesity is increasing, and so then the cycle of poverty and the complications of poverty continue. Only 27.1 of high school children report meeting the standard by the Department of Human Health and Services of participating in physical activity. Because of some of these reasons, they aren't able to, and so therefore we have an unhealthier adolescent. So let's move on to what's the answer. The answer is our movement. Humans being more, just like we're doing today, and sharing with one another that we can be healthy by choice, by the choices that we make, the new habits that we form, rather than by chance. It's an active process through which people become aware of and make choices towards a more successful existence. And we have a series by Dr. Gary Winders on Dr. Gary Linder on self-care matters, so that we can assume responsibility for our health. That ties, it's such a nice segue into what we're presenting here today. That'll be Wednesday evening at 6:30. You can contact the person who invited you today so that you can plug into that program like this, so to learn a little bit more. So NECAN, I introduced NECAN in the beginning, and I mentioned that the purpose of this 41-year-old debt-free global wellness company is living a life in balance. And with 5 core pillars of health that are the central core values of this company's purpose, and that is healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances in a balance wheel. And if we just looked at this balance wheel and asked ourselves what 1 or 2 are we most out of balance, it would be difficult to answer because they're interrelated. If we have physical body issues where we can't work, that creates imbalance in health. It creates stress mentally. It can have an impact on a family if you lose one income, or if someone has to not able to work, or they don't have health care benefits. And it's certainly, if we don't have healthy families as the nucleus of a healthy society, it impacts healthy society. If we don't have good enough finances, we're not able to pay forward and help those in society who may not be as successful or as graced as each of us may be. So it's an opportunity to share and pay forward with others. It's a beautiful, holistic approach to life and a beautiful philosophy. Now, what is the solution? Our mission, NECAN's mission, is every home a wellness home. So what's a wellness home? You know, that's a concept. So how do we describe a wellness home? So the picture that we have here shows the components of air, and I'll go from air and go move my cursor over to this white unit that's sitting here. And this is the 3rd generation of advanced HEPA called ALPA, air filter generation. And it basically, the bottom line is it takes everything bad out and it blows back into the air or to the environment what we call vitamins that our body needs. Negative ions that as we breathe them in, it helps with everything from deeper sleep to depression, to having those negative ions hook on to positive ions, which are free radicals that other bad things can hook onto, like viruses, carcinogens, and bacteria. And so not only are we filtering the air to take everything bad out, we are putting back into the air living vitamins in the form of negative ions that are important for us to feel well. There is a light that I'm pointing to here. So air, light, that light creates a spectrum of blue light, which again is healthy, improves vision, counteracts. I have mine right here in front of my PC because when I have my full spectrum light on me, it's counteracting the electromagnetic smog that I'm being exposed to by having my cell phone to the right of me and the computer screen in the front of me. At night when I'm reading, I can have every light off in the house and just have this light on and be able to read fine print that you can't read. I can't sometimes at my age without a magnifying glass. So a beautiful light, and we have other light available in the form of far infrared technologies. So 2 ways to get the light into our bodies very passively, by sitting in front of it, wearing it, being under it. Sleep. Now the sleep system here is back in the bedroom, and we'll have a picture of it in one of the slides coming up. We are to sleep 1/3 of our lives for a reason, so that we can restore and regenerate, boost our immune system, improve circulation, help get toxins out of our bodies, all those good reasons of why we're supposed to sleep 1/3 of our life. And we just saw in the earlier slide, 70% of Americans don't sleep well. Water, since 60 to 85% of our body, depending on if you're male or female, dehydrated or well hydrated, is water, and 2/3 of the earth is water. Water is critical, but not just any water. Living, mineralized, alkalinized, wetter, more what's called, the medical term is isotonic to your body cells, your two oceans of water, water in cells, water between cells. So the way that water flows in and out to give the life and the highest optimal functioning of every cell is if it can get in and out of those cells easily. And then lastly, food. Pure, good supplementation, organic, vegan, whole food, patented. We have specific for bone health, mental clarity, digestive enzymes, men's, women's, pets. So wonderful whole food, organic, kosher, vegan, blah, blah, blah. Supplements to supplement. It's hard in this day and age not to eat from processed foods and pop something in a microwave or go out to dinner and not know what you're getting in the food that you're eating. So I've done a little bit of an overview there. The Nikken technologies are made from science that replicate nature. So we're using nature's energies, the sun, the earth, pure water, pure air, rest, good nutrition, good skincare. Our skincare line, which is EcoCert, you can go to ecocert.com and find that what we have, very, very few more expensive than our EcoCert lines. Our EcoCert line of True Elements has available to us in North America. So we're really very fortunate. Your skin is your first line of defense. There is the shower head, which is a part of the environment makeup I mentioned already. I forgot to mention the water in the previous slide. Air, light, the PIMAG waterfall system was sitting over on the counter in the wellness home, and the shower should be in the bathroom in the shower. So this is the environment category. Nutrition and skincare, the food that we put in and on our body when it helps to get to all the cells with the proper oxygenation, the best water, and through the use of sun and earth energies in rest and relaxation, makes a win-win. So when we say every home a wellness home, you begin wherever you are comfortable with and wherever you may be most interested in. I started with a pair of the Mag Steps as a retail customer, and by the time I drove home, my varicose veins and my achy legs felt better. And that was the first and only product that the company had from 1975 to 1980. Being a research and development company, Nikken continued to use the profits to reinvest in other technologies. This funny looking flex pad here with the little circles on it is a pad intended for the lower back, but it can be put over the abdomen, it can be put on a thigh, it can be put in a small little miniature puppy's basket as a mattress for a puppy. And so it can be used anywhere. It can be put under a plant to help your plant grow. So we have the negative ion, the sun in the form of infrared, and the magnetic technologies in the insole, in the flex pad, in many other technologies that we have. And here is the flagship product, the Dream Nature Rest Sleep System, where you're cocooned in your own little greenhouse every night. And then when you step out of bed in the morning and put your feet in your shoes and take your shower and put a necklace on your neck, and there are many, many products that are in these three categories. So every home a wellness home for society's health and well-being. You can see on this slide that Nikken has many trusted endorsements, many good housekeeping stamps of approval from the British Allergy Association, the Water Quality Association. One of the most significant, because of the crisis that we have with children who are our future, is a joint venture relationship with Healthy Child, Healthy World. Now, what we have with us today are several wonderful people that I would like to have me stop talking and have each of you share. And I'd like to begin with Hattie Jean. Hattie, would you unmute and share your story?
Hello, Madeline. Thank you for your invitation. Let me get myself up here so I can see. There I am. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you fine, Hattie.
Wonderful. Hattie Jean.
Hattie Jean. Hattie Jean. Okay.
And I hang on to the whole thing. Now, but it's without, anyway. My story is regarding the vital balance and nutritional line area, because for years I have never been a slender person. Between big boned and just big gal, I've always had nutritional dietary territory. So the idea of starting on a diet was onerous to me. I didn't like the idea of that at all. But I had done many things with vegan products and enjoyed them and loved them and still do. But there were issues within my health that weren't totally resolving well. So nutrition was an area I was going to have to look into. So I went on Vital Balance system with jade green enzymes and then added 10-4 later because of my need to work on my mental health, being able to remember things, being able to keep it from being foggy, not always being tired and exhausted. And that's why I went on the nutrition element as opposed to a diet. And now after I started a year ago last March, and when I started, I also started going into the computer store that supported my computer for lessons as to how to work with the computer, because in my years in nursing, I got out before we did so much computer work, so I had no idea. And in doing that, they had to set my laptop up so when I opened it, it signed me in because I could not remember a passcode. Well, as of this month, I can remember the 10-letter passcode in order to come and join you all. And I'm so happy with myself.
Congratulations. Could you also share the nice additional benefit that has happened in these months?
Side effect?
Your side effect.
Well, losing weight is something that my doctors had always wanted me to do. And so as my weight started coming down, I'd check in with them on a monthly basis, and we would always weigh in. And mine was, well, am I going in the right direction? Don't tell me the amount, because I'm lousy at math. And I didn't want to be focusing on expecting calorie change or weight change because of the other reasons. And so it was always, well, it's going the right direction. It's going the right direction. Well, I can say now it's gone 76 pounds down.
Congratulations. Congratulations. We have Hattie, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hattie Jean. Okay. I won't make that mistake again. We have some other people that I'd like to call on. Please stay on board. I may come back to you. Eunice needs to unmute. I'm sorry, you couldn't hear me. Okay. We're talking about nutrition, and Eunice, if you could limit, because there's a couple more people and we have just 5 minutes left. Unmute, it's down at the bottom. You'll see the little microphone down at the bottom. So if you just unmute your microphone at the bottom left of the screen.
Eunice, pull your finger on your screen down and a little black bar will show up.
At the bottom.
And on that screen, it'll have the bar, it'll have both your microphone and your video. And just tap on it.
Lower left bar. Put your cursor across the lower left bar.
Got it.
There you go. Okay.
Everything disappeared.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Everything was gone. I was like, oh no, I can hear them and I can't see them.
Your story's so powerful, so please share with everybody.
Which one, Madeline?
I think the quality of your life and your allergies.
Oh boy, that one was a rough one. Years ago, my husband would call and tell me we were going out for dinner, and I had to call the restaurant and talk to the chef because I had such a severe reaction to corn starch, modified cornstarch, anything that was from corn, it bothered me, and it was hidden ingredients. And so I would call and say, because my husband owns an investment business, well, he's retired now, but we would meet them with clients, and I couldn't dare have an allergy reaction in front of his clients. I mean, my throat was closed, my tongue was swell, and I'm gasping for air, and people were ready to call an ambulance. It was severe. So
At that time, Eunice, I think you were already in the whole wellness home, but you were.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say, that I was using all the magnetics, had the sleep system, the water, the air, everything. But I started on the nutritionals, and without even realizing it, my allergies went away. And one day my granddaughter was eating popcorn, caramel, and normally I couldn't stand the smell that. It would choke me and I'd have to get out of the room, and I'm sitting there and it smelled good. And I was home alone with my granddaughter, and I dared to take one bite, and it went in my mouth and it melted. I was like, oh, look at me. So that was my first one. And then I went out to Madeline or somebody, they had a group out in Ohio, and I went out and the table was covered with covered dishes that people had brought. I took a deep breath and I said, you can do this. And I went out there and I took a little bit of everything, and I sat down to eat, and tears started pouring down my face. People thought I was crazy, but I'm sitting there with tears eating my food.
Eunice, could you just share when you actually saw the nutritional microscopy and what you do now if you do have an allergic reaction?
Yeah, I just had an allergy reaction last night, but there was a guy, Ted Aloisio from Canada, and he doesn't come into America anymore. They shut off his visa. But he was a live cell microscopist, which means he'd take a drop of blood from your finger, put it on a slide, and put some liquid in with it, and it would think that the blood would think it was alive and be scurrying around. Well, when they looked at mine, it was all just big globs of nothing just packed up on top of each other, and it kind of reminded me of a dead swamp with a stick laying there with leaves just piled up, and it was pretty gross. And he told me to start taking the greenzymes and the digestion and calcium, things to alkalize my blood. And so we went back 6 months later, and he checked me again. And there was such a marked difference. He kept moving the slide all over just to find one little speck of calcium. Acid. Because the acid was so bad on the first slide. And I looked at that and I thought, well, if that did that much, I'm going to start taking all the nutritionals, except the men's and the dogs. So I started taking them all, and lo and behold, I just started getting better and better. And now I started drinking the meal replacement, and I'm drinking it sometimes 2 and 3 times a day, just making sure that I eat one solid meal a day. But I've started jogging up and down our driveway. I hope you can still hear me because my slide just went off.
We can.
Even today, I was playing with my granddaughter. She's 8 months old. And I am running through the house. She's on her hands and knees. I'm running through the house and coming back and going, ah! And she's laughing and laughing. I think I was the 3-year-old running through the house.
If you don't mind, thank you so much. I do need to interrupt you because we're almost out of time and I need to leave. So, and I'm sorry because I was going to include Gloria today and the Brocks. Next Monday, I'll be filling in for Rachel again. And if you would please come on then and share your testimony. And Molly, I see you there, and you have a wonderful testimony as well. So what we did today was shared a vision, mission, and purpose of a wonderful total wellness self-care global company. And what we're asking each of you to do is to consider discovering it, living it, as you've heard that Hattie Jean and Eunice have, and be willing to share it. Where we recommend is make your choices and begin as a customer. The company just implemented a wonderful customer appreciation program with much lower prices than all of us that are on here today have been paying for many, many years. For me, it's been 18 years. So begin as a customer, experience so that you can have your stories to share, just as you heard today. And then if you love what you're experiencing and feeling, then consider joining us as a part-time entrepreneur or full-time entrepreneur. Upgrade your membership and invite some others to attend these series. We have more. Ask the person who invited you today about the calendar of events. And thank you very much for sharing, each one of you. Have a blessed day and come join us on the Niken Highway. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good, good, good.
Hi, Molly.